Less than 24 hours ago, we were at the hangar on the other side of the Maumee River. As etiquette says, ladies first, so they did. And the Tinora Rams got a little payback after losing on their home court last season as they knocked off the Pilots 53-31. Less than 24 hours later, the boys take center stage as we are live at the Emerald Tinora High School Gymnasium as the Rams will try to make it a season sweep and keep bragging rights on the south side, make that the north side of the Maumee for another season. Welcome aboard, everybody, as the Ayersville Chevrolet Cadillac pregame show is now underway. DCTV Sports, Brent Balbinot alongside Claire Dow saying thank you for joining us. Claire, you got your first taste of the River rivalry last night. Now the entree has been served. This evening, it's a lot of red meat. These two teams, the boys, are going to go head first after each other.
Man, and the parking lot is absolutely packed. I mean, I got here just before the JV game started, and you could hardly find a parking spot. So I hope people came early or they're prepared to walk or get dropped off because it is going to be a packed house tonight. Uber
might make a little extra money tonight if they're willing to drive a little farther down Ayersville Road. Well, the Rams come in at 14-2 overall, 4-0 in the Green Meadows Conference. They sit alone atop first place in the standings. The Pilots, they have struggled, and by Coach Logan Wolfram's own admission, they have underachieved a bit this year at 5-11, 1-3, but make no mistake about it. A win here tonight at their arch rival on the road, and that cures a lot of ills.
Well, and that's where you can never discount a rivalry game. Weird things happen. You know, a team couldn't have won for 10 years, and that 11th year, they have an 0-5 record coming in, and they get the win because there's just something magical about rivalry nights.
We're going to hear from the coaches themselves and our player profiles. Again, we're doing double duty tonight. For the Pilots, it will be Jeremiah Peak, the standout sophomore. For the Rams, it will be their standout point guard. He leads the team in points, rebounds, and assists. And dare I say, charisma. Connor Welling will be our player profile for the Rams, but etiquette says visitors first as well. So what we're going to do is take a quick timeout. Big thank you going out to our pregame sponsor, Ayersville Chevrolet Cadillac, located on North Clinton Street in Defiance, earning everyone's satisfaction and trust, one customer at a time. You can also check out their great selection of new and used vehicles online at drivebobestel.com. Quick timeout. We're back with more of the Ayersville Chevrolet Cadillac pregame show right after this on DCTV Sports.
Ayersville Chevrolet Cadillac is this area's new and used car headquarters, earning your trust one satisfied customer at a time. Ayersville Chevrolet Cadillac, North Clinton Street in Defiance, and online at drivebobestel.com.
Welcome back. DCTV Sports is the outlet. Brent Balbinot saying thank you for joining us as the Ayersville Chevrolet Cadillac pregame show is underway. It is time. The arch rivals. As a matter of fact, Tinora and Ayersville don't really refer to each other by their actual school name, just that team across the river. Throw out the records. I don't care what sport you're talking about when the Rams and the Pilots get set to do battle. Right now we're getting set for boys action. Coach Wolfram joining me right now. Coach, I know that you can get dramatic about it, but it really is a good rivalry. Sometimes you talk about rivalries that may be bloodlusts.
Yep.
This is a healthy rivalry, a lot of intensity, but a lot of respect at the same time.
Oh, yeah, exactly. It's been that way for a long time. One of our assistant coaches, Coach Lymansaw, actually played at Tinora, and then Chris Lymansaw, their head coach, is Treg's cousin. So we get along with them really well. We bounce ideas off of them. Our kids have played together, but again, it's one of those games where we're going to go into it, and once that first clock starts, it's go time, and we don't care if Tinora or whatever, we're going to go play, and we're going to go try to win.
Going at each other like enemies from the old neighborhood, as my uncle used to call it. Look, both teams in very different positions right now. You did play one of your best games of the season a week ago on a Friday night. Obviously, no surprise, Tinora unbeaten and alone in first place in the GMC.
Yep.
Does any of that matter coming into this one?
I don't think so. Like you said, I think we're playing the best basketball that we played, aside from Saturday. Friday night, we played very, very well against a good Hicksville team. So we're playing well at the right moment going into the end of the season. And again, Tinora is playing extremely well. They've had a brutal schedule, but Coach Lymansaw's done a great job with them. but it's going to be one of those things when it's a rivalry game, anything can happen, and our guys are going to prepare to go win.
Let's start with Ayersville. What have you been most pleased with over the last couple of weeks?
I would say consistency has been better through 4 quarters. If you looked at our plus minus early on in the season, we were terrible in the first quarter, like not good at all. But over the last 5, 6, 7 games, our first quarters have been very good. So we're not playing from behind from the get-go. So we're doing a great job of that in the first quarter, and then we're in games in the fourth quarter. So that's all we can ask is come out with a fire tonight and go try to win this thing.
Yeah, Tenora's been hanging their hat on defense. As a matter of fact, only 2 teams this entire season have broken the 50-point mark. As a matter of fact, 4 of their last 5 opponents haven't even reached the 40-point mark. What's the key to breaking them down?
Yeah, they do a great job 1 through 5. They're not oversized. They're not a huge team, but they're not a small team, if that makes any sense. They're all about 5'11" to 6'1". They're built pretty well. I think they all play football, so they have that physicality to them, and they just do a great job defensively. So I was actually talking to our coaches today. I said, I think the winner of this game is going to be in the low 40s because I think it's going to be a battle from start to finish, and it's going to be a low-scoring game.
Keys for an Ayersville win?
Yep. Obviously, come out in the first quarter. Going to have to come out on fire, hit some shots early. If we can hit some shots early, have under 12 to 10 turnovers, we'll have a chance to win this thing at the end.
All right, Coach Wolfram, we appreciate it. Best of luck to you.
Thanks, Matt.
We're going to take a quick timeout. When we come back, we'll have our Ayersville player profile. It will be the super sophomore, Jeremiah Peak. Don't you go anywhere on this extended edition of the Ayersville Chevrolet Cadillac pregame show. Tinora and Ayersville. We're back after this on DCTV Sports.
Discover top quality healthcare education at Northwest State. Our instructors have real-world experience, so they know how to prepare you for great career opportunities. Northwest State, where you'll get the top quality healthcare education you need to succeed.
Welcome back to DCTV Sports as the Ayersville Chevrolet Cadillac pregame show continues. It's an extended pregame show tonight as we've got those teams across the river doing battle for each other. They don't refer to each other by name. I will. Tinora taking on Ayersville. Of course, Tinora unbeaten in the GMC and sitting alone in first place. Ayersville, last Friday night, picked up a big win against Hicksville on our broadcast and trying to get a little bit of bragging rights for a season until next year. Our player profile for the Pilots, Jeremiah Peak. Now, they list you at 6'2" as a sophomore. Now, I'm standing up straight, assuming you are too. Is the roster accurate?
Yeah. Let's say yeah.
He's going to poor boy it on me. I just knew you were. We'll give him credit. 6'2". All right, let's rewind before we look ahead. You okay with that?
Yep.
Last year, a starter as a freshman.
Yep.
That was a senior-dominated team, so maybe you weren't asked to do quite as much. But coming into this year, what did the coaching staff ask you? What did they tell you they wanted your role to be?
Well, they expected me to be a little bit of a role or a leader instead of just a role player as last year when there was 6 seniors and I just came in as a freshman. So this year I had to step up and teach these guys a little bit of what I learned last year.
So does that come from being a leader by example or a vocal leader? Are you comfortable with being a vocal guy?
Yeah. Usually during practice I'm the one talking and I get these guys going a little bit.
He's not lying. But when you say vocal too, sometimes you can get too vocal. I've talked with guys before, especially maybe with vocal coaches or maybe that one senior that talks nonstop. And after a while you talk to the rest of the team and they're like, you know, we don't hear you anymore because you talk too much. What's the key to inserting yourself, but then maybe stepping back and let the guys play and see what they've learned?
Talking to an extent and then dropping back a little to let them do it and then picking back up into it. So then you all go together with it.
Let's talk about JP, the player here. Last year into this year, what were some of the things you were working on in the off season to make yourself a better player this year?
Getting downhill a little bit and primarily my defense, because my defense last year wasn't the best, so I was trying to pick it up this year.
So is that footwork? Is that being more physical? How did you become a better defender this year?
Yeah, I'd say footwork, because you have to slide with people to get them to go where you don't want them to.
Constantly in movement. We used to call it corralling. corral a guy to one area of the floor, usually to the sideline or maybe another teammate to help double team. Let's talk about offensively. You talked about getting downhill. We know that you can shoot, especially from beyond the stripe, but you're not just a shooter. You want to be a scorer. Talk a little bit about honing your offensive game.
Well, when I can't get my shot to fall, then I realize I have to get somewhere with the ball instead of just standing, catching, and shooting. So I find open gaps and attack them.
So you don't mind getting an assist as much as a basket then?
No, I don't.
As long as it goes in the hoop, 2 points is 2 points,
Yep.
right? Let's talk a little bit about Tinora. What's the scout on? What do you need to do?
I'd say stay outside perimeterly together, and we have to communicate a lot.
They are a guard-oriented team,
Yep.
and they've got 4 guys that are all around double figures. If it was just one guy dropping 18, you could focus on him, but this is going to be a challenge defensively, isn't it?
Yeah, because they work together and they can all do it.
What's this game mean personally? Forget the records, forget who's in what place in the conference standings. I hate to say bragging rights, but it is one of those bragging rights games. What would a win mean to you?
It mean everything, knowing that they knocked us off last year by a buzzer beater 3. Should have won that game, but come back this year and try and show them out and win this game.
Nothing left to do but get after it. Jeremiah Peak, our player profile for the Pilots. Best of luck to you, not just tonight, but the rest of the way.
Thank you.
We're going to take a quick time out. We're back with more of the Estill Chevrolet Cadillac pregame show. You're watching DCTV Sports. Welcome back. The Estill Chevrolet Cadillac pregame show continues. The ladies took center stage last night because the etiquette says ladies first, but now the guys take center stage. It is that arch rival. They don't refer to each other by their school's names. They just say that team across the river. Tinora hosts Ayersville, and if it is as even half as competitive and entertaining as it was last year at the hangar, then you are going to want to hang around for this one. Adam Spichala nailing a three-pointer almost at the buzzer to give the Rams the win on the road last season. Tonight, we have nicknamed this place the Emerald. Does that sound okay to you? I mean, there's green everywhere.
Yeah.
This is one of the few gyms that doesn't have a nickname in Northwest Ohio.
Right.
So we're going to try and see if it sticks, but it's coach approved, so we'll see if we can make that work. Coach Lymanstall joining us right now. Coach, before we preview, let's rewind. You okay with that?
Okay.
Let's talk a little bit about last season into this season. Bulk of the roster back. Did miss a couple of key players, Rittenhouse in particular, who graduated last year, but you knew that you weren't going to have a bare cupboard coming into this season. What was the challenge to your returning guys to try and become better?
I think, for them to be where they are right now, it was more of a commitment thing this summer. The 3 seniors just didn't miss, workouts and such. And I credit the guys, that graduated. They big shoes to fill. They scored well for us, led us on the floor, and they were a big part of our turnaround at the second half of the year last year, where first half was kind of tough. Second half we ended up going 8-3, and they were a big part of it. And I think another big part of it was the emergence of Connor Welling.
Mm-hmm. We're going to hear from Connor Welling in just a couple of minutes. He is our player profile. Let's talk about goals. I know some coaches say we don't want to talk about them. It's just a game-by-game basis. Other coaches will say if we don't talk about them, all of a sudden we get to say the postseason. All of a sudden the guys are looking around going, okay, what do we do now? We haven't been here. What's your philosophy about talking about expectations or goals?
We don't typically put a numerical thing on our goals in terms of wins or in terms of postseason or in terms of league. It's more about what we can do to improve each day. We break things down, game by game in terms of possession by possession. So it's more so just do the little things well. That's what we want to do. We don't look long term, and our goal is to have our group reach its peak potential as we play.
Another day to practice is another day to get better, but as we've heard quite often, you want green and growing in December instead of ripe and rotten in January. This team seems to have taken that to heart. 14-2 right now, unbeaten in the GMC. Obviously, this Ayersville matchup is going to count towards the conference standings, but where is this team right now as far as at least being on scale or on schedule? Are you about where you thought, maybe ahead of the game?
Not so much ahead of the game. Preseason, we thought, if you're looking long term, if you look at your entire schedule, there's not a team that we thought, we're scared of. We thought, game by game, there was a chance that we could compete and win. But that said, we had a great start in terms of preseason practice. We kind of stunted our growth in other areas just so we could become a better defensive player or team. And we thought that was one of our points of emphasis in the preseason, and so far it's paid off.
So far it has. You see that I have done my homework on you. This is what happens when you can't sleep. You're up at 1:30 in the morning, and you owe Coach Lymanstall the best interview prep you possibly can. Look, you're averaging nearly 47 points per ball game. That's pretty solid. But defensively, and I know it doesn't get a lot of highlight reels at 6 and 11, but you're holding opponents to 38 points per game. As a matter of fact, only 2 opponents have broken the 50-point mark. Does this team get the credit it deserves at the defensive end?
Well, I don't think we're looking for credit so much as we're just looking for those wins each night. It comes down to our kids are really smart, and they understand what can beat us and where we can influence offenses to shoot. And for the most part, we've held. Like last weekend, we had Wayne Trace go 1 for 19 from 3. Earlier in the season, we had another really good opponent go 1 for 13 from 3. So we're trying to influence shots at the defensive end and emphasize rebounding as much as we possibly can.
What you're also doing is taking care of the basketball, 11.1 turnovers per game. I mean, a little bit better, and you're going to be into single digits. Can you just talk about how this team is so solid at the offensive end?
We just try to play at our own pace and, not get too quick, and that's a credit to our seniors who are pretty mature. We don't get too fast with it. We run our stuff. And in terms of, having the 11 turnovers, we'd like to get it down into single digits, maybe around 7 or 8. And when we do turn it over, it's kind of our mental blunders that we do it ourselves. We get too quick, and we're trying to slow ourselves down. And that's where improvement lies for us is, being a little bit more consistent at the offensive end and not turning it over.
Let's go ahead and get the scout on Ayersville. Almost all the conversations begin with Jeremiah Peak. He's going to be a college-level player. He's the team's leading scorer. Let's start there. Number one, who draws him defensively?
Well, we're going to put Connor on him. Connor's drawn a lot of good offensive players, kind of stymies their offense. A lot of other teams have great point guards, and he kind of stymies that a little bit with some of his pressure and his ability to get in the passing lane. So he's going to draw him, and Connor's not going to try to do too much. We understand that Jeremiah is going to go shoot, and he's going to try to shoot a lot, and we're going to try to contain that.
And as you were telling me, it's not just on Connor. It's going to be a team effort. It's not like you're going to ask one guy to face guard him no matter where he's at.
Yeah, we really believe in our base defense, and it's a team defense, and just like our offense is. It's a team defense that has responsibilities, and if guys are in their gaps where they're supposed to be, we're going to be successful.
Where would you say your team has made its most improvement, say from late November, now that we're heading into February?
I'd say we're more consistent defensively. Early on, it was, we'd allow a team to get up into the 40s, or we'd keep them real low even into the 20s. So there's that in between that we kind of felt it was going to balance out a little bit. But our defense has also been able to trigger some offense. Defensively, we got smart kids. We read scouting reports really well, or we understand scouting reports really well. And we come up with key buckets off of our defense at times.
I'm looking down here. You've got 2 guys averaging double figures in Spachala and Welling, but then Lieb is at about 9 points per game. Homeyer's just an eyelash below 10 points at 9.8. Is this a good example of if you play within your system, there's enough touches to go around for everybody?
Yeah, and we can say it's our system, but we can also credit the kids. The kids are extremely unselfish. They really don't care who scores. We've had guys, 4 different guys who have hit the 20-point mark plateau this year, so they share it. And again, I go back to their IQ. They give the ball to the guy who needs it, or who's hot, or who's got the best matchup.
Still a handful of games left to go in this regular season. How much better can your team still get?
We just take it day by day, really. We're looking to get better possession by possession in games. We're looking for that consistency in practice. We can still improve.
This guy has my vote when he runs for office. That was a very diplomatic answer. In all honesty, and Connor said this, it would mean a lot, not only to win this game, but to beat your arch rivals on your home court.
Yeah.
I'm guessing you don't have to give too big of a pregame speech, do you?
Nope, it's kind of been our MO all year. I never really try to make things too emotional for the kids in the locker room, because I think if you start playing with your emotions, then it starts taking away from what your game plan is or what your focus is. So again, the whole rivalry thing, we really haven't talked rivalry thing. I personally don't like the game because my cousin's on the other side.
Trust me,
So,
I've talked to him a few
yeah,
times.
So I don't like that for that reason, selfish reasons. But for us to do what we need to do, I think we need to play with emotion but not become emotional.
Coach, as always, we appreciate it. Good luck to you, not just tonight, but the rest of the way.
Thank you.
Coach Lymanstall joining us on the Ayersville Chevrolet Cadillac pregame show. Check out their great selection of vehicles, both new and used. If you're like me, everybody's on a budget. Used is just as good. Broken in, not broken down, I think is how they refer to it. At least not as far as our broadcast crew is concerned. We're going to take a quick time out. We're going to hear from our player profile, Connor Welling. Don't you go anywhere. More of the pregame right after this on DCTV Sports.
Simplify your everyday banking with convenient account options and digital banking features that fit your unique lifestyle. Premier Bank, everyday banking solutions designed for you. Explore solutions today at yourpremierbank.com.
Welcome back. The Ayersville Chevrolet Cadillac pregame show continues on DCTV Sports. It is night number 2. The boys now take center stage as the big mommy matchup. Huge rivalry. I've never heard it called anything, like it doesn't have a name. I thought the river rivalry. Does that sound about good?
That sounds all right.
We'll go ahead and make it the river rivalry. Both schools refer to each other as that team across the river, Tinora and Ayersville. Last season, it came down to literally a last-second shot. Adam Spichala nailed a 3 to give the Rams a stunning road win. Tonight, they're in the Emerald, and they want to defend the home court. Our player profile is Connor Welling, 5'11", and a senior. But as you and I were talking about, I don't think the roster's giving you credit for maybe an inch or two.
Yeah.
You 6 foot? 6'1",
I'd say
maybe?
6 foot.
All right, then we're going to go with him until he gives us a reason not to. Let's talk a little bit about last season into this season before we preview. Sound good?
Yep.
All right. Good season last year, but you knew you had something special coming back this year. Let's start with you in particular. What were some of the things you were working off over the summer to become a better basketball player this year?
I was working on my ball handling, and then I got some shots up. Obviously, my three-point percentage wasn't that good last year, but it's getting a little bit better this year. And I wanted to attack more to get open shots for other people.
When you beat me to it, what did the coaching staff, in particular Coach Lymanstall, say he wanted to see more of you for this year?
He wanted me to be an all-around player. Just get the ball where it needs to go and stuff like that.
Now, you talk about leadership as well. And anybody can be a leader no matter what year they are. Some guys do it by example. Some guys are maybe a little bit more vocal than others. I know Rittenhouse was one of those guys for you last year. Did Coach talk to you about leadership?
Yeah, he wants all 3 of us seniors to be a good leader to the younger people. And if someone's down or anything, you got to bring them up and be a good teammate.
Were you comfortable with that?
Yeah, I was okay with that.
So you had no problem stepping in. Let's go ahead and take a look at this young man's stats. He leads the team in almost every category. 11.1 points per ball game, 3.8 assists. So he's not afraid to be a pass-first point guard, but also 6.3 rebounds from the point guard position. Was that something that the coaches challenged you, or maybe you challenged yourself?
I would say around last year, like the end of the season, I started getting more rebounds more and more, and I get around like the 10 mark. So I think it just brought over to this season.
So walk us through what makes being a good rebounder, because they always say it's a nose for the basketball. It's not necessarily skill set, it's about attitude. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, you just got to go in there and know that you're going to come back with that ball.
Now, I'm going back a ways, but I think most people still, even in high school, might remember the name Dennis Rodman when he played with the Bulls. Now, beyond the crazy hair colors and the eccentric attitude, he was a tremendous rebounder. And when asked about it, he said, I watched the flight of the ball off the shooter's fingers. And he goes, after that, I know where the ball's going. In your opinion, what's the key to being a good rebounder?
I'd say you just got to get in there, and if the ball's coming from the right side, you got to get over on the left side because it's more likely to come on that side.
So there is a little bit of science to it, right? But at the same time, it's very physical.
Yeah, you got to be aggressive.
You just won't be beaten out for the basketball. basketball. Is that a fair way to put it?
Yep.
Walk us through what practices are like. I know tonight it seemed like it was a little bit more, I won't say install, but you were working on some stuff. But how physical do practices normally get?
They get very physical. We start off with defense, and then we get towards the end where we 5-on-5 for about 20, 30 minutes, and then they just get physical around there.
Let's go ahead and talk about this season. 14 wins against just a couple of losses, unbeaten in the GMC. Did you guys talk about goals at the beginning of the season? Where are you at right now?
Yeah, I'd say about 3 weeks after the season, Coach brought us all in. We came up with 3 goals. We wanted to be above 500, win GMC, and make a deep playoff run.
So right now, 2 of those 3 are already well in hand. You guys continue to talk about them, or do you just stay focused on the next game?
We just stay focused, game by game.
So that's a very coach-speak answer, but it seems to be working for you right now. Where's this team made its most improvement, say from even just a couple months ago at the start of December to now?
We share the ball very well. Like, we get a good shot for a great shot.
Let's go ahead and talk about tonight's opponent. It is a rivalry. Now, I've been told it's a healthy rivalry. It's not bloodlust. It used to be pretty intense.
Yeah.
It still is, but not to the point where anybody has to leave in an ambulance. But you want to beat these guys, just like they want to beat you. Does this game have a little extra significance or meaning to you?
Yeah, obviously we want to win. I mean, we just got to limit Peaks threes and do our job.
Okay, you beat me to it. Now, Coach told me, in addition to being the toughest player and the smartest player on the roster, peace and love to the rest of his teammates, he also says you're a solid defender. Are you drawing Peak at least to start?
Yep, I am.
You're going to get in his jersey.
Yeah, I'll make sure he gets no threes.
Getting after it. What is the key? Because he is smooth, and he's not just a shooter, he's a scorer.
Yeah.
So again, you have to be able to prepare to handle him off the dribble, off the drive, as well as keep an eye on him. Do you just face guard him everywhere he goes?
I'll get my hand out on him, and then if he drives, I have my teammates to help me in the gap.
Okay, so it's going to be a team effort. The term is student athlete. Got to crack a book. Got to stay eligible to stay in the uniform. What's the GPA for you?
I'm sitting at a 3.5.
3.5 is very respectable. So here's the $1 million question. Do you have a favorite class?
I would say algebra.
Math?
Yeah.
Really?
Well, no, I mean college prep.
Okay, fantastic. Who's your algebra teacher?
Miss Retchard.
Miss Richard?
Retchard.
Retchard.
Yep.
All right. Miss Retchard, you're getting a lot of love. I don't know if he's this close to maybe jumping up another level on the grade scale. What is it about her that makes... Look, I was not a math guy. I took algebra 2, and geometry, and that was it. I know here there's some advanced classes. I think there's trig. I think even some pre-calc. What is it about Miss Retchard that makes math good?
She just makes the class fun. Like, she keeps track of my free throw percentage, everything. She comes up to me after every weekend. She's like 2 for 5 or 5 for 5.
Oh.
Yep.
All right, so she's got a little bit of gym rat in her as well.
Yep.
Maybe you think I should ask Miss Retchard if she wants to keep stats for us?
Yeah,
Think she'd do
you
it?
should ask her.
All right, Miss Retchard, we will try and get the best talent that minimum wage can buy, or maybe she'll work for food. We'll go ahead and throw her a food coupon. What do you think? All right. In all seriousness, hopefully she takes this in the proper manner, which was great respect and also a little bit of fun. Let's talk about where this team is right now, because this is just one game as far as Ayersville is concerned. It does count, obviously, in the conference standings. Next thing we know, we're going to blink our eyes, and the postseason's going to be here. How much better can this team still get?
We can get a lot better. We just got to keep on sharing the ball and doing what we do best, and I think we can make a good run.
With all of that said, good run. Stays, though, with the next game on the schedule,
game by
which is
game.
Ayersville, right? Good luck to you, not just
Thank
against
you.
the Pilots, but the rest of the way.
Thank you.
Connor Welling is our player profile. Don't you go anywhere. We are back with more of the Ayersville Chevrolet Cadillac pregame show right after this on DCTV Sports.
Visit Mark Moats Ford and check out some of the best new Ford models. Mark Moats Ford has been serving the Defiance community since 1916. Visit them today, County Road 424 in Defiance, and online at markmoatsford.com.
Back at the Emeralds, Tinora High School Gymnasium, we're about 2 minutes away from tipping off the varsity as the Rams, 14-2 overall, 4-0 in the Green Meadows Conference, sitting alone atop first place, taking on the arch rivals, the team across the river, the Ayersville Pilots at 5-11 and 1-3. Brent Balbinot alongside Claire Dow. Let's go ahead and give you a look at our keys to the game. Brought to you by Northwest State Community College. Your key to great career opportunities begins with a great education at Northwest State. Visit northweststate.edu or call 419-267-1320. The band is providing some atmosphere, so I hope you can hear me because I can't. Let's go ahead and start with the visitors, the Ayersville Pilots. Again, who wants seconds? Jeremiah Peak has been the most consistent, not only scorer, but player for head coach Logan Wolfram and company. Again, coming into tonight, averaging 16 points per ball game. But Claire, they need a consistent second score.
Well, and you love to see an athlete like Peak, but the problem with that is everybody sees it. On the scouting report, you know he's the guy. So Coach Wolfram really needs somebody to be a consistent second scorer that maybe when everybody's honing in on Peak, they can step up and pull defenders off of them.
Second, be boss with the ball. The Pilots are averaging nearly 15 turnovers per ball game. Even if the opposition is hitting 50%, that is still an extra 10 to 12 points that you're giving away for free. They cannot afford turnovers. They got to be boss tonight.
No, and that's where you got to play confidently, trust yourself, don't second guess. That's where a lot of turnovers comes. When you second guess that pass, you wait for a half second too long, and then it's covered.
On the second side for the host Rams, we'll get these in quickly before the national anthem. Don't play, and peekaboo is misspelled there. It should be Jeremiah Peak, P-E-A-K-E. They have to smother him, face guard him. Multiple guys are going to be in his jersey tonight because if that first shot falls, he's deadly.
Yeah, Peak is going to be the one to keep an eye on. If you can shut him down, that's a pretty solid plan for Tinora, and it's looking good for the Rams.
And then number 2, we just heard him. He was the player profile. Beef Wellington for everybody. Connor Wellington leads the team in points, rebounds, and assists. As he goes, so goes this team.
Coach says he's one of the toughest and smartest players he's had in over a decade, and I mean, it shows stat-wise, but even when you see him play.
Time now, everybody rising to their feet as the singing of the national anthem will be done by Tinora senior Ireland Muller. And a well-deserved round of applause for Tinora senior Ireland Muller with tonight's national anthem. Our thanks going out to our underwriter for the Star-Spangled Banner, the Defiance County Veterans Office. Proud to support local veterans and their families, connecting them with resources that are available to them. If you'd like to learn more or request more information, log on to defiance-county.com/veterans office or give them a call at 419-782-6861. Time now for the starting lineups, brought to you by Baker Schindler Company. Providing the area with the highest quality contracting services for nearly 100 years. Baker Schindler Company of Defiance and Paulding, baker-schindler.com. Let's start with the visiting Ayersville Pilots. No surprises, as we'll take a look at Owen Lloyd. Again, Owen Lloyd, the junior point guard. Lloyd doesn't score a ton, but he runs the show. Dylan Dunn is one of those players that the coaching staff is hoping can provide some consistency as far as the second scorer goes. He averages 6 per game, but we had the headsets on a few weeks ago, Claire, when he dropped 18. He does have it in him.
He does, and the fact that he's already done it fairly recently, hopefully that'll give him some confidence tonight going into this rivalry matchup.
Of course, at the swing, it is Mr. Everything, the 6'3 sophomore Jeremiah Peak. He averages 16 points per ball game, pulling down nearly 4 rebounds. Jackson Stambaugh is another guard. Again, Stambaugh is averaging 2 points per ball game. And then in the middle, the 6'3" freshman center, he's got a lot of pop in him. He's very streaky. Again, another candidate for who wants seconds, but it is Dane Ewers. Ewers is the second leading scorer on this roster at just over 13 points per ball game. Now for the host, Tinora Rams, again at 14-2 overall, 4-0 in the Green Meadows Conference, and looking to stay unbeaten against their arch rivals. At the point, our player profile, Connor Welling. Welling does everything, 11 points, 6 boards, 4 assists per ball game. He leads his squad in all 3 of those categories. At the up guard, Owen Farrell. Farrell averages nearly 2 steals per game. He's good for 3 points per contest. Another guard, Josh Lieb. Lieb, again a sophomore. Lieb averages 9 points and 3 boards per contest. Then we've got Alex Homeyer. Homeyer, again, one of those guys that just stirs the drink. He's an anonymous voice in the chorus, but at 9.8 points and 2.8 rebounds per contest, he is an integral part of this starting lineup. And then the mouthpiece for this roster, Adam Spichala. Spichala, the team's second leading scorer, the senior at 10.5 points and 4.5 rebounds per game. Time to tip it off. Everybody on their feet as the Emerald is hopping. We are underway, and look at this. Ayersville out in a 1-3-1 with Peak at the top of it.
With his quickness, no surprise there. He can dart all around the court.
Well, they ran Lee baseline and almost got a good look on a backdoor layup, but the pass was a little high. Heads up, though. Lee throws it out of bounds off of Ayersville. And Welling will inbound. Top of the key. Farrell thought about it. Oh, another nice backdoor cut. They didn't get it the first time. They got it the second time. Connor Welling puts the Rams on top early.
Well, nice cut and then a nice pass, too, because that could be tough to see. You only have a split second to do it. Great execution.
This is a soft, looks like 2-3. Trying to see the ball drop below the free throw line. This is kind of an amoeba defense that Coach Lymanstall told me about. It is a zone, but it's got man principles, or if you want to call it a man with zone principles.
Well, and it looks like Spichala is matched up one-on-one with Peak.
We knew that was going to happen. Yep. Welling picks up his dribble. Spichala in between the circles and immediately surrenders it. Welling, one cool customer, will set up their pattern offense. Working to find gaps. Again, the corners against a 1-3-1 is where they want to attack. But Ayersville rotates so quickly, you got to move. You really have to decide, Claire, before the ball comes to you, what you're going to do with it.
Yeah, you need to shoot ready, catch and shoot.
Speaking of catch and shoot, the corner, and that was a little bit of a hesitant shot by Homeyer. Offensive rebound and the putback.
Lieb doing a good job kind of getting that position. That's what's fun with corner shots for 3. You know it's going to dink off a little bit.
Heat check for Peak. Almost wedged it on the far side, and Spichala cleans up. Here's a rare fast break opportunity for Tinora. Welling. Oh, my. He gets rejected by Ewers, but Ewers caught a piece of him on the way up, and the freshman can't believe it. Ewers first. Team foul number 1. Welling to the stripe, where he's a 69% free throw shooter. This young man just does everything, Claire. He's a Swiss Army knife. And just as I give him credit for doing everything, the first free throw goes trickling off the left side.
You proved yesterday the broadcast curse was not alive.
It does not happen.
However.
And I'm going to go out on a sturdy limb and say he's going to make the second one. It's on the way. Thank you for making me look like a genius, Connor. 5-0. Handful of a run here for Tinora. Peak surrenders the basketball. Now it's Welling on him. And it's almost like a box and one, but look at everything move. It's an amoeba defense. It's man with zone principles or zone with man principles, depending on how you look at it.
Well, and that's where communication is so key. You can kind of see him handing off the guy they're guarding is, hey, you have him now, great, and then they switch.
Peak on the drive. He's stripped by Welling, and it goes right to Lieb. Welling surrenders. Spichala quickly gets rid of it. Left to right step in. Much better looking shot by Owen Farrell. That is a 3. A premier bank 3 And it's going to lead to a timeout for Ayersville as they have surrendered the first 8 points of this ball game. 30-second variety, so we will keep it here. Do want to let you know that the officiating crew this evening, Kyle Borer was a late substitute for James Troyer. Craig Druis and Les Hockenberry are your men in stripes tonight. All right, so what stands out at you, I should say, through the first couple minutes of this ball game?
I'm really impressed with Tenora's sharp ball movement because the zone can kind of give you fits a little bit, especially we've got some gangly arms, and so passes need to be sharp and quick, and you need to pass fake, and they're doing a really good job ball movement-wise, and it's paying off because they're getting open shots.
And there they update the scoreboard, giving Farrell credit for his last shot, a 3. It's 8-0. Logan Wolfram trying to calm his team down. You got family members on opposite sides of the gym tonight, even on opposite coaching benches. Peak thought about it. Welling identifies, immediately comes out. Dunn thought about it. We have a whistle away from the ball, and it's going to be a foul. Is it Lieb underneath? Nope, it's going to be Spichala. His first team foul, number 1. The inbounds from the baseline. Stambaugh crosses over. Peak spots up, and the 15-footer just a bit short, and the outlet to nobody. This is why you got to keep your head on a swivel there, young man. Well, you saw Stambaugh come down with it, and realizing he was about to be swarmed, kicked it out, but there was nobody on the wing. How many turnovers does that make now for Ayersville? Just 2? Welling across the timeline. Right back out to him. Still a 1-3-1 with the wings coming up a little bit. There they find the corner. That's an open 3. Halfway down, Lieb sees it spit out. And it's out of bounds off of Ayersville. I'm not sure what happened. Peak almost looked like he had a brain cramp there.
Well, and Welling got a touch of it. He pressured him a little bit, made him trip up, knocked it out.
So Rams get another shot at it. Slowing things down. Posting up in the low blocks. Nice job by Holmeyer, but they'll get it. Reverse. Spichala this time was ready. Just a bit short. Oh, what a job. Crash and dash. Well done by Connor Welling. He has 5 of his team's 10 points. Ewers crosses, and that's going to be a little too handsy by Owen Farrell, his first team foul, number 2.
Yeah, Farrell a little bit slow on the side, tried to pull him up, or hold him up a bit with his hands, and drew the foul.
Peak will inbound on the baseline. Lobs it out. Ewers drives in against the double team, and he draws the contacts. Freshman being very aggressive. If I saw 5 digits being flashed, it is.
Yep.
Going to be Josh Lieb, his first. This is going to be a shooting foul for the freshman center, Dane Ewers. Ewers, deep crouch, releases, splits the nylon. Ewers just a 58% free throw shooter. A lot of pup in this kid still. I know the coaches say when he figures it out, he's going to be unstoppable. Taking some time as he's handed the basketball. Couple dribbles, spins it, releases. It's pure. And at the 3:47 mark, finally Ayersville on the board. Over half of this quarter gone before they get a pair of free throws.
And still yet to get a field goal.
Welling, where they ran leaving the low blocks. They're flashing, it looks like, in the post, but then they're getting out quickly, Claire.
Yeah, there's no need to muck up the middle if it's not open, but it is a good distraction to pull some defenders and then hopefully leave the corner a little less defended.
Welling kicks it to the corner. Almost. I thought Dylan Shively was going to drive. He did not. Back up top. Tinora being very patient right now. Coming up on 3 minutes left to go in the first quarter. Spichala. He does have handles, but he's going to surrender the basketball. Well, right now, if you're going to break down the zone, you probably want a little bit quicker perimeter passing, don't you?
Kind of what we saw to start the contest. They had sharp, quick passes. Ooh, that's a dangerous one.
Dangerous one, and it's stolen away by Ewers. 3 green jerseys get back. Ewers goes in, and he's rejected by Welling. Welling will slow it down, kicks it to Spichala for 3. Got it! Another Premier Bank three-pointer, and it's 13-2 Rams. Dunn thought about it. Back up top to Ewers. Dunn got some distance. It's just a bit short. Spichala with the board, and again, Rams don't want to run. Of course, they've got the advantage being up by 11. And they're just going to kind of work it around the perimeter right now. Welling looking back at Coach Lymanstall, who flashes the signal to play that he wants. They'll reverse it. Welling, there they go. Flash to the middle of the paint. They got the look they wanted, and Homeyer can't believe he missed it. We've got a whistle underneath. Jump ball the call, and the arrow points to Ayersville.
Well, that was just a nice job by both Homeyer and Lieb, where Homeyer flashes up, but Lieb did a great job of sealing the down low defender to give Lieb the look.
Parker Hancock, number 10, will now check in for Tinora. That's about as deep as the bench goes for the Rams. Up by 11 as a long 3 by Peak, no good. And is this going to be a foul on Welling coming over the back? And he knew it.
It feels good at the time in the air. You're like, no, I have that. And then you realize, oh, I fully have his shoulder.
Yeah, and then some.
And then some. That's going to be a foul.
The inbounds, they try and lob it, and Ewers somehow taps it in midair. Count it, and one coming. Spichala picks up his second. And is he going to take a seat? He will. Lieb will check back in. That's what the Ayersville coaching staff talks about when they talk about this freshman, Dane Ewers.
Yeah.
Trying to complete the three-point play. He cannot. Ball tapped out of bounds, and Johnny on the spot. Pete can't hit the bunny, and it is getting physical. Who's this against? They are charging this one against Peak. It looks like they are. Craig Drew is coming over, and that draws a rather salty response from the Ayersville faithful. And Peak still wasn't buying it. He was trying to deke it. And Tenora's fans now giving it to the Ayersville players. Well, this is an intense rivalry, Claire. We heard both coaches talk about it. It used to be a blood rivalry. It's a healthy one, but they're not afraid to get after each other either.
Well, when you're this close in proximity and you're in the same conference, it makes sense.
Well, both schools, at maximum 10 minutes away from each other.
Yeah.
As a long 3-0 doing. Welling with the board, but he's stripped. Here comes Peak. It's 1-on-4, and he'll stop and pop from 22. Nothing doing. Fast break opportunity for the Rams, and Welling, one cool customer, will slow it down with 40 seconds left. It'll be interesting to see if Tinora takes the air out of the ball for the remainder of the quarter.
They may as well. Up 9.
Ooh, and a foul away down low. Lieb was cutting and was completely unaware that a defender was there, and was that Dunn that took the brunt of it, taking one for the team.
That's what they needed right now, because it seemed like Tinora was going to hold it for the final shot. Now Ayersville has the opportunity.
22 seconds and counting. Everybody will catch a little bit of a breather right now, as Ayersville working for the final shot, down 13-4. Dunn. 9 seconds. They got to get their offense moving. Peak being dogged by Welling, and he's backing it out. 3 seconds. Pump fake. No foul called. Pete can't believe it. That was a heads-up move to give the pump fake, but the officials did not call the foul, and we have come to the end of the first quarter of play. Tinora 13, Ayersville 4. We'll take a quick timeout. Mark Moats Ford timeout. Serving the Defiance community since 1916. Located on County Road 424 in Defiance. Online at markmoatsford.com. Tinora 13, Ayersville 4. Back after this on DCTV Sports. Welcome back to the Emerald. Oh, the stuff you don't see when we are in break. Again, the athletic department just got a t-shirt gun. And who else than their esteemed athletic director to go ahead and fire a few away, and he launched one up here to us. It bounces off the wall and hits one of our producers. Ryan, you okay? You have to try that thing out, see if it fits. Oh, goodness. Jake Asick was having some fun with that, though, wasn't he?
It was fun to watch. I mean, it was electric. And really, I don't know if anybody knew how much power it
No,
had.
certainly he.
Holy smokes.
He's going to have to find a better angle to bring that thing down. Those were line drives. Ewers into the paint. This one goes begging off the left side. Stambaugh thought he had it, but he ran into the official, and it will remain Ayersville basketball after the turnover at the other end by the Rams. Bounce pass. Ewers has done all the scoring for the Pilots. He's 2 for 2 from the stripe, and he hit a jumper in the middle of the paint. And he's trying to work right now against Hancock. Top of the key. Ewers trying to drive baseline on Hancock, and the fouls are starting to man up on Tinora right now. That's just his first. Of course, with the new quarter, it's now reset. I think Ryan is now a new fan favorite of the Ayersville student body. They were loving the fact that that came right down to him. Jake couldn't do that again if he tried it 100 more times. Ewers on the drive. Boy, a shot to the chin on Owen Farrell. We play on as Ewers now has all 6 of the Pilots' points. And still staying in that 1-3-1 zone. Spichala back on the floor despite 2 fouls. And again, Tinora is just happy to kind of lazily work the ball around the perimeter. It's almost like they're looking for one good cut. Or, there again, Welling had the 3 but didn't want it. There's the flash, the inside out. Spichala from distance. Book it! Spichala with his second basket, both from beyond the arc, and it's another Premier Bank three-pointer.
He's got such a beautiful shot.
Spichala from beyond the arc is a 36% shooter, just slightly above the average. I think the high school average was 31. But again, that's a wide sample size.
Yeah, yes.
So 16-6, lead is 10. And Tenora's more than happy to milk some clock up 10. Again, this is a team that averages 47 points per game. But Claire, they win with defense. They have been averaging only giving up 38 per contest.
Well, they didn't even give up a field goal until, just 1:24 left in the first quarter.
Again, looking up and down Tenora's schedule this season, only 2 opponents have scored 50 or more. That tells you how tightly they play at the other end.
Well, and if they take their time on offense, the longer you have the ball in your hands with no shot clock, I mean, it gives your opponent less times to score too.
Welling looks over. Coach Lymanstall signals a play. Let's see what they run. First cutter through, nothing doing. Now they get the second cutter through Hancock, but they can't find him. They'll reverse it. Into the corner. Nobody wants to attack off the drive right now. Tinora bringing it back out. Well, if they're trying to bring the Pilots out of this 1-3-1 right now, Ayersville isn't biting. The question is, down 10, at what point do you maybe want to try and pick the pace of the game up?
Well, and it could be a different strategy coming out in the second half, but here in the second quarter, it seems like they're just going to try and they're okay with Tinora running the clock.
Down by 10, Spichala. Daylight for three, give him another! We see you, number 11. We see you, his third straight three-pointer.
Man.
Ewers, the only Pilot so far to score. We've been talking about what a great job the freshman's done, but how about the job defensively that Tinora is doing on Jeremiah Peak?
Yeah, it's you can tell it's been frustrating for the whole Pilots squad, and that's what you want if you're defending.
Dunn is one and done. And here comes Welling. Spichala, he's feeling it. Almost!
Robbed.
Around the world it kicked out.
Good look.
Bullet pass to the near corner, and it looks like the Rams are now going to go ahead and go back into their patient offense here. Up by 13. Claire, I know you didn't have a headset on last year, but over at the hangar, Spichala nailed a three with about 5 seconds left to win the ball game.
Gives you chills.
Under 3.5 left to go. Bullet pass, that's great ball movement. And again, Hancock had the ball in the high block but didn't make an aggressive move. Up top, another three. That was off, you could tell from the second it left the fingertips of Owen Farrell. Ewers, all 6 of his team's points, surrenders the basketball with under 3 minutes now left to go in the first half.
Well, future looks bright. I mean, when you have a freshman stepping up in this situation, that's huge.
Hancock overplaying as he fronted Ewers, and that's just a great job to steal that basketball away. How many turnovers does that make now for Rayville?
4 total.
Okay. Into the paint, up top, Spichala, heat check. Goes begging off the right side. Nobody picking up the ball until Ewers gets to the top of the key. But again, Peak right now just hanging out in the far corner. Welling will lay off him a bit. Ewers stops and pops from 17, in and out. Welling slows it down, now kicks it into another gear. Hancock aggressive, so I thought Spichala was going to pull the trigger there. Under 2 minutes left to go. Ayersville's student section trying to spur on their team's defense as they trail by 13. And Tenora's just not going to do anything. This is a battle of wills right now, Claire. Tenora's not going to run any offense, at least very selective offense. And Ayersville clearly is not coming out of this 1-3-1. Can they try and break it? Nothing doing. Welling with the board, though, and they'll kick it right back out.
Yeah. May as well. I mean, it's working.
Welling going to get in on the act. Connor Welling with a three, a Premier Bank three-pointer. They're raining in from all over the Emerald tonight. 22-6, Peak. Nice wraparound pass. The shot was just a bit quick. Nice job, though, that time by Stambaugh after missing the shot to get the steal from behind. Dunn crosses over. He took a little bit of a love tap. In the NBA, that's continuation. In high school, that's going to be a foul on the floor. Foul will go against, I believe, it will be Farrell, his second. Third team foul with just over a minute left to go as the inbound's knocked away by Welling. Now exactly a minute. The inbounds. Stand ball to Peak. Rare open look. He's just not quite able to get into rhythm right now. Spychala. This guy has some spice to him. Not just his game, but to him personally. He is a character. And with 35 seconds left, it looks like Tinora is more than happy to take the air out of the ball for the final shot. Well, both teams will catch a bit of a breather. Loden Clark has checked in for Ayersville. Talented tight end on the football team, but a little short. He's very physical. You can tell he spent times in the weight room. Welling on the drive, dishes. We had two guys cutting baseline. Neither realized the spacing on that play clearly isn't what I think Coach Lymanstall wanted, and yet they still almost got the basket. And with 5.5 ticks left to go in the first half, looks like Welling, nope, they won't put any pressure on the ball, but Peak's got to hustle. Across half court, loses it. No foul called as he leaned in, and Welling took the worst brunt of that. He took a shot. Is it his wrist or is it his gut? He's bent over, but appears to be okay as both teams head to their respective locker rooms. We have come to the end of the first 16 minutes. All Rams here at the Emerald. Tinora 22, Ayersville 6. We'll take a 2-minute break. 2-minute timeout. Back with our Midwest Community Federal Credit Union halftime show. You're watching DCTV Sports.
Estill Chevrolet Cadillac is this area's new and used car headquarters, earning your trust one satisfied customer at a time. Estill Chevrolet Cadillac, North Clinton Street in Defiance, and online at drivebobestill.com. For the past 70 years, Midwest Community Federal Credit Union has been your financial partner, helping you achieve your dreams and secure your future. Midwest Community Federal Credit Union, with locations in Defiance, Bryan, and Napoleon. Find out more at midwestcommunity.org. Visit Mark Moats Ford and check out some of the best new Ford models. Mark Moats Ford has been serving the Defiance community since 1916. Visit them today, County Road 424 in Defiance, and online at markmoatsford.com.
Discover affordable transfer opportunities at Northwest State.
Start here and save thousands on tuition.
Our advising team will help you get your credits transferred.
So don't wait another minute. Get started today.
Proudly serving the area with the highest quality contracting services for nearly 100 years. Baker Schindler Company of Defiance and Paulding, 419-782-5080. Online at baker-schindler.com. Simplify your everyday banking with convenient account options and digital banking features that fit your unique lifestyle. Premier Bank, everyday banking solutions designed for you. Explore solutions today at yourpremierbank.com.
Back at the Emerald, we are at the intermission. Brent Balvanot alongside Claire Dow as the Midwest Community Federal Credit Union halftime show is now underway. Midwest Community Federal Credit Union celebrating 70 years of helping you achieve your dreams and securing your future. Visit them in Defiance, Bryan, or Napoleon, and as always online at midwestcommunity.org. As there you take a look at the senior, I believe it is Mary Watson is the twirler. She has been just a joy to watch, obviously with the marching band during football season. And one last performance here at half court. How about this? Young lady's got a little bit of
Very
talent.
talented, yeah.
The athletes aren't only wearing basketball uniforms this evening. Let's go ahead and run down your unofficial scoring totals right now. For Ayersville, trailing 22-6. Head coach Logan Wolfram wishes he had a few more. Only one player in the scoring column, and it is freshman center Dane Ewers. He has 2 free throws and 2 baskets from the floor, and that is it. Only 6 points for the Pilots.
And it's just tough kind of mentally going into half looking like that. I mean, they had a couple of free throws, 3.5 minutes in to the first, but it took them until just 1 minute and 24 seconds remaining to get a field goal. And then from there, second quarter, again, Ewers just really stepping up huge tonight.
On the flip side for Tinora, a little bit more balance for the 5 starters in the scoring column, led by Adam Spichala. He's feeling it beyond the arc. 3 3-pointers tonight for 9 points to lead all scorers. Senior point guard Connor Welling hot on his heels with 8. Owen Farrell also draining a 3, and Josh Lieb with a basket as well. What do you have for turnovers for both teams?
4 and 4. So Ayersville had 3 in the first versus Tenora's 2, and then kind of evened each other out there.
Actually, if you're Logan Wolfram for Ayersville, you would take only 4 turnovers. I mean, that's on pace to only have 8 for the entire game.
And just 1 in the second quarter, too. They really cleaned up. Well, part of it, though, Tinora held the ball for quite a bit that second. So
true.
But cleaning it up for sure.
On the flip side, Tinora comes into this one only averaging 11 turnovers per ball game. So both these teams have done a good job of taking care of the rock. But at the same time, more offense clearly, and especially from beyond the arc for Tinora. We're going to take a quick timeout. Mary Watchman. I might have said Watson. It is Mary Watchman. Take a bow, young lady. Very classy performance. And a standing ovation by the Tinora fans. Well done. We're back with more of the Midwest Community Federal Credit Union halftime show. Tinora 22, Ayersville 6. You're watching DCTV Sports.
Estill Chevrolet Cadillac is this area's new and used car headquarters, earning your trust one satisfied customer at a time. Estill Chevrolet Cadillac, North Clinton Street in Defiance, and online at drivebobestill.com.
Back at the Emerald, Brent Balbinot alongside Claire Dow as the Midwest Community Federal Credit Union halftime show continues. The arch rivals getting after each other. They don't even refer to each other by school name, just that school across the river. Out of the Green Meadows Conference, Tinora won last year at the Hangar on a last-second three-pointer by Adam Spichala. Right now, not nearly the dramatics needed here at the Emerald, although Spichala has drained 3 threes so far tonight. But his Rams lead the Pilots by a score of 22-6. All right, Claire, let's put your coaching cap on. Let's start with Logan Wolfram in that Ayersville locker room. What are you telling your team right now?
I mean, the most important thing is keep your head up. We are not out of this yet. It feels like it is, and kind of like what we talked about last night a little bit, chip away at the lead possession by possession. Don't come out here and say, hey, we've got to make it all up in one go. You're not going to be able to do that. Do what you can on defense to shut them down. It'll be interesting to see defensively if they let Tinora hold the ball like they've been doing, and if they do, how long they let them do that into the second half.
You're down 22-6. My guess is Coach Lymanstall is going to continue with the same philosophy that got him this lead. I was going to ask you that very question, so point blank, you kind of touched on it there. How long can you afford to stay in that 1-3-1 if you're Ayersville?
If you are able to execute offensively, I think you can let them hang out for maybe 15 to 20 game seconds, and then you pull out and hone in on them. But who knows? Hey, Coach Wolfram could come out and say, hey, we're going to switch it up. We're going to go man.
Right there, you saw it half court. Again, Activities Director Jake Essig awarding Stone McCann, a senior, a $1,000 scholarship awarded by Brightspeed Internet. Again, Brightspeed Internet, and this one wasn't as much of an academic scholarship as it was a character-based scholarship. How involved are you in the community, your charities, other clubs that you might be involved in. And Stone McCann, congratulations, a $1,000 scholarship presented by Activities Director Jake Essig, but courtesy of Brightspeed Internet.
That's awesome.
Hey, we're trying to give the academics as well as the athletes some pub here tonight. All right, Ayersville, boy, quickly out onto the court. No sign of Tinora right now, which leads me to my next question. If you are Coach Lymanstall in that Rams locker room, you're up 22-6. What's your message?
Do exactly what you're doing and keep your head about you, because in this situation where you do have the lead, it is a heated, heightened emotion rivalry game. Don't make silly fouls that you don't need to make, and don't get too chippy. Because it's
already physical.
Game, but you don't want to commit a technical foul or any of that stuff that could really change the momentum.
Well, we're going to take a 60-second timeout. Both teams out for a quick shoot-around. When we come back, second half action. It is the River rivalry. Rams 22, Pilots 6. You're watching DCTV Sports.
For the past 70 years, Midwest Community Federal Credit Union has been your financial partner, helping you achieve your dreams and secure your future. Midwest Community Federal Credit Union, with locations in Defiance, Bryan, and Napoleon. Find out more at midwestcommunity.org. Visit Mark Moats Ford and check out some of the best new Ford models. Mark Moats Ford has been serving the Defiance community since 1916. Visit them today, County Road 424 in Defiance, and online at markmoatsford.com.
Discover top quality healthcare education at Northwest State. Our instructors have real world experience, so they know how to prepare you for great career opportunities. Northwest State, where you'll get the top quality healthcare education you need to succeed.
Back at the Emerald, the ball's being put back in the racks. It's time for second half action. Arch rivals Tinora and Ayersville. The host Rams leading the visiting Pilots by a score of 22-6. Rams enter tonight's contest with just 2 blemishes on their record all season long at 14-2. They are perfect at 4-0 in the conference. The Pilots on the flip side woulda, coulda, shoulda in at least a handful of games. But you are what your record says you are, and they are 5-11 and 1-3. Trying to take a look at the 5 that will be taking the court for both teams, and doesn't look like there are any surprises for Tinora. Welling, Farrell, Lieb, Homeyer, and Spichala. Now remember, Spichala and Lieb both have 2 fouls. And on the flip side, it looks like the same 5 for Ayersville. Lloyd, Dunn, Peak, Stambaugh, and Ewers. Pilots have the ball, moving to the opposite end of the gymnasium. And again, Tinora out in that. This looks like more of a true or tighter man-to-man. Lloyd, one step in front of the arc. They've been asking him to do more of that, and he does as he opens up the scoring. He's just hit his per-game average, Claire.
I have a feeling he's going to be surpassing that tonight.
Somebody's got to if they want to get back into the game. Down 22-8. It's still a 1-3-1, but this time Ewers at the top of it. And Tenora's going to say, fine, we'll spread the court and milk the clock. Depending on how much time ticks off the clock, Welling on the drive. That's an open look for 3. Just a bit short by Homeyer. But again, an offensive board. Welling thought about it. Wide open. Lead for 3 off the base of the iron. Offensive board. Put back, no go, and here's Spichala, but does he pick up the foul, or is it going to be Ewers from his knees? Or will it be done? It will be Lieb. And that's his third. So here comes Hancock.
Yeah.
Barely over a minute into the second half, and odds are he's going to be watching the bulk of this third quarter with 3 fouls. Peak, my goodness, about 26 feet out. Holy cow. There's a heat check, and then there's such a thing as a prairie fire. My goodness. A Premier Bank 3 from almost the banks of the Maumee. And look at this, it's a 5-0 run by the Pilots to start the second half. In the near corner, Farrell dribbles out of it, and that's a dangerous pass. Ewers deked him into it. The freshman coast to coast. What a crossover! Right to left, and now it's a 7-0 run by the Pilots, and all of a sudden we've got a new game. Lead trimmed to single digits. Now this is where, again, kind of going into that stall, does it take you out of your offensive rhythm a little bit if you're Tinora?
We will see.
What dangerous skip pass. This is the one man you got to have a hand in the face of if you're Ayersville. And Tinora will back it out. Almost stolen away. Far corner. I thought Welling had a lane there. Didn't want to take it. Instead, he'll take a 3. Halfway down, it spits out. Well, when you're hitting them, you say great shot. But they haven't fallen to start the second half. Is Tinora maybe becoming a little too reliant on the long-range shot, in your opinion?
Maybe a little bit. They've got a couple more, I think, before it's, hey, we shut it down and we're only going to look inside.
Nice backdoor cut by Peak. Lays it up and in. He's got 5 quick ones. And all of a sudden the lead trimmed to 7, 22-15. And a little bit more urgency now by the Rams. Spichala for 3. It's short. Battle for the board. Peak's got it. Hancock stripped him. Done to Ewers. Freshman slows it down. Now kicks it into another gear and nobody picks him up. An uncontested layup. An 11-0 run by the Pilots to start the third quarter, and Tinora wants a timeout. We'll take one with them. Brand new ball game. Don't you go anywhere. We're back at the Emerald after this on DCTV Sports.
Simplify your everyday banking with convenient account options and digital banking features that fit your unique lifestyle. Premier Bank, everyday banking solutions designed for you. Explore solutions today at yourpremierbank.com.
Back at the Emerald, second buzzer sounds. Ayersville on the strength of an 11-0 run to open up the third quarter, right back into this ball game, still trailing, but Tinora on their heels a bit despite leading 22-17. Coach Lymanstall calling a much-needed timeout, trying to get his guys refocused. And my guess is preaching a little fire in that huddle.
Well, the hardest thing to see was Dane Ewers, who had the only points for Ayersville in the first half, and no one picking him up when he's driving.
Yep.
He's gotten 2 very easy-looking layups. I mean, he's working hard, don't get me wrong, but uncontested, and that cannot happen.
Welling, a bit more urgency as he stops at the front of the key. A bit more sharpness in their cuts, a bit more strength in their screens. Huge possession for the Rams. They led 22-6 at the half. It's now been cut to 5 at 22-17. We got a whistle underneath. Ewers and Hancock were doing battle with each other, and I believe Ewers just picked up the foul. Nope. Instead, it looks like it's going to be Jackson Stambaugh. Now Tinora setting up with 4 on the perimeter. Hancock had the three, didn't want it. Holmeyer now switches out. They'll run a cutter through. Tinora continuing to be patient. Welling. Hancock in the near corner. Sharper ball reversal. Open for three. Got it! Owen Farrell with a much-needed Premier Bank three-pointer for the Rams.
Nice double screen there in the short corner, making sure that nobody could quite get out to him quick enough.
Ewers comes to a jump stop, goes up with the left hand. It's short. Boy, Spichala skied, and there's the freshman, maybe with the frustration foul. Ewers with his second. Well, the silver lining for Tinora is, despite giving up an 11-0 run, they're still up by 8. And again, Welling just one cool customer as he walks it up the court.
And it was Coach Lyman-Stahl taking that much-needed timeout to just kind of reset and say, hey, pick them up. Do not give them wide-open layups. I think lit a fire a bit.
Skip pass. A little bit sharper around the perimeter right now. Dangerous skip pass near side. Ball movement is much more sharp now for Tinora. Welling. Great look on a backside cut. That is two-man basketball as Lieb the beneficiary. Just 5 points here in the third quarter for the Rams, but they're back up by 10. Long three by Lloyd. Nothing doing. Ewers living dangerously, and did he just pick up a foul coming over the back? Yep, the freshman with that who-me look. I thought he got away with it the first time, but the second time wasn't going to happen. You like the fight, though.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, substitution as Dylan Shively has checked into the ballgame now for Tinora. Rams don't have a particularly deep bench. Actually, neither team does. Spichala drawing a lot of attention here in the second half. Again, ill-advised pass from the corner on the baseline. Here comes Peak. Nobody's picking him up. All the way in. Count it, and one coming. Oh, we have a tee. I'm looking down to mark the score in my book, and somebody just got teed up.
I think it was.
Was it Peak?
I think it was Peak.
Peak talking trash, and he said something with an earshot of the official, and Logan Wolfram pleading his case. Oh, what a huge turn of events. And Logan Wolfram, got to be careful there, Coach. He's talking with Kyle Borer, and now Kyle Borer doing the right thing here. He let the coach have his piece, but now he's turning and walking away.
Yeah.
So what we will have is Peak shooting the free throw on the foul, and then we'll turn around and have everybody walk to the other end of the Emerald to shoot the technicals. Did Peak say something, or did he shove a player?
I think he kind of maybe over-celebrated in the face of another, but I was also looking down. I caught the bare end of it.
So Peak completes the three-point play, but now we'll move to the other end for the technicals. Peak technically on the technical. That's his second. And they will send Josh Lieb to the charity stripe. By far and away the team's best free throw shooter at 78%. Can't drain the first. Almost looked like he rushed that shot. Kind of short-armed it. At 78%, you got to figure he'll make the necessary adjustment here. And he does. So the lead back up to 8, and it will be Rams basketball. Well, we got a new game.
Yes, we do. And rivalry games never seem to disappoint, but you can just feel the emotion in the gym.
Yep. Coming up on 2 minutes left to go in the third quarter. Again, Tinora back in that spread offense. And a dangerous pass stolen away by Ewers. Look out! He went with the smart move there. He wanted to dunk it, but you could see he was short-stepped on the basket, and he made the smart decision to lay it in. Lead is now trimmed to 6. And Tinora not showing any signs of panic. But again, a skip pass by Chala. Has he even taken a shot here in the second half?
No.
They have done a good job of identifying him. 3, open, near side. Off the bench, Shively says, let me get in on the act. Another Premier Bank 3. Ewers leans in against Bichala. That couldn't go down any farther and not finish. How did that ball pop out?
It might be something with that side of the gym because that Bichala 3 kind of did the same thing.
Under a minute left to go in the quarter. Tinora up by 9 and with possession. Welling will back it out. Everybody catching a quick breather. Bichala immediately rid of it. Welling doesn't want it. Still plenty of time on the clock. Well, to their credit, Ayersville has not come out of the zone, but they've been able to get enough steals and enough stops to make it a new ball game. 18 seconds. They'll back it out. Usually about 10 seconds is when you start your offense, start your play. And we're there now. Welling, nice jab step, and Lloyd's going to be guilty of reaching in. If he didn't, that was an easy layup.
Yeah. Well, and that's one of those, if you get a good enough angle, sometimes you do get nothing but ball and you get away with one.
Welling to the stripe for a pair. Decent free throw shooter at 68%. Usually you want your point guard to be up around 75 or so. First is on the way. In and out, and he looks skyward, not happy with himself.
While there's still plenty of time, you really want to start sealing it out now.
Yeah.
And so these are must-makes.
Well, this to make it a 10-point lead. It's good. So the Rams 50% from the charity stripe tonight. Lead 32-22. Ewers on the baseline drive to Peak. It's hard, and contact between him and Welling. And was there a whistle?
Yeah.
Peak is trying to sell it as if there is, and yes, they're going to signal a foul on Connor Welling, and Peak will finally, at the end of the first, the end of the second, now the end of the third, this time he gets the call. Welling second, Peak to the stripe. Rattles home his first. Peak an 81% free throw shooter. Trying to stay perfect on the night, 3 for 3. Taking his time. Got it. So a little air in the sails for Ayersville. 32-24 as we have come to the end of the third quarter. We'll take a 60-second timeout. Final 8. When we come back at the Emerald, you're watching DCTV Sports. Final 8 put up on the scoreboard clock. We welcome you back to the Emerald. Brent Palpinot alongside Claire Dow. Well, Tinora led Ayersville 22-6 at the half. It's 32-24 going into the fourth and final quarter. And Ayersville has yet to come out of that zone. Now they've switched personnel. They put Ewers at the top and dropped Peak down low, but it has paid off. What do you have for turnovers for both teams, Claire?
Total Tinora with 7, Ayersville with 4, and really that third quarter was huge for both teams. Ayersville, on the high note, didn't commit a turnover, which really helped them kind of close that gap, and Tinora 3.
Right now an 8-point lead. Rams would like to stretch it, but they are just as stubborn as Ayersville's been to stay in the zone. Tinora is going to spread it and work it. Spichala feeling it. Great job by Lieb to crash on the weak side, and he'll head to the stripe.
Lieb did a phenomenal job just sneaking in there to that opposite block. Perfect spot for that board, and then went up strong.
Lieb so far on the night has 5 points. I'd call him cagey. He just seems to know where space is, whether he has the ball or not. He is just seemingly in the right place at the right time as he drains his first. He's also a good free throw shooter at 78%. He drains both here. Lead is 10, 34-24. Well, done thought about it. Ewers is as well. Spichala going to say, I'll give it to you. And Ewers says, I'll take it. A Premier Bank 3.
What can't you do today?
7-point lead. Welling. Well, he hasn't really attacked here in the second half. Spichala has picked up his dribble. They'll reverse it. Skip pass. Boy, those are dangerous. Far corner. Back out to Spichala. Approaching 6 minutes left to go in the contest. Dribble penetration into a double team. We haven't had a lot of fouls called tonight. The officials have let them play.
Yeah, it's been very equal, which is good to see. But it can get tough during a game like this with all the height and emotion.
Yep.
So it's been nice that it's been fairly clean.
Spichala with a rare open look. Short on the 3. That last foul went against Lloyd for Ayersville, his second. Peak thought about it. Lloyd immediately smothered. This is the man that if you are Tinora, you've got to hope he doesn't go off. Little shake and bake. Goes begging off the left side. Well, we've talked about it. Tinora winning with their defense as much as anything this season. Only 2 teams all year long in 16 games have hit 50 or more points. And right now the Pilots have yet to get to 30, almost halfway into the fourth quarter. Lieb, he's feeling it. Give him another! Josh Lieb with a Premier Bank 3-pointer, yourpremierbank.com. And all of a sudden, the gap has stretched, although Ewers with a nifty drive on the baseline. Give him 2 off the square, and Logan Wolfram wants a timeout. It's a full, so we'll take a break as well. 5:08 left to go in the game. It's an 8-point lead for Tinora. Back at the Emerald right after this on DCTV Sports.
Estill Chevrolet Cadillac is this area's new and used car headquarters, earning your trust one satisfied customer at a time. Estill Chevrolet Cadillac, North Clinton Street in Defiance, and online at drivebobestill.com. For the past 70 years, Midwest Community Federal Credit Union has been your financial partner, helping you achieve your dreams and secure your future. Midwest Community Federal Credit Union, with locations in Defiance, Bryan, and Napoleon. Find out more at midwestcommunity.org. Visit Mark Moats Ford and check out some of the best new Ford models. Mark Moats Ford has been serving the Defiance community since 1916. Visit them today, County Road 424 in Defiance, and online at markmoatsford.com.
There you get a good look at the Tinora and Ayersville huddles here back at the Emerald. Brent Balbinot alongside Claire Dow. It's not officially called the Emerald yet, but we are working on making it stick. We're trying. It's your first time in this gym, though.
Yeah,
What do you think?
I like it. It's nice that they have the little perch for us up here. It's a great view.
What do you think of the nickname for the Emeralds? Yes?
I'm in.
Are we barking up the wrong tree, or
No, I mean,
does
I'm in.
it
I
fit?
have to say, unfortunately.
Okay.
But I do like it.
She's on her way to becoming a local celeb. Bounce pass, pump fake, basket and one. What a KG play by Alex Homeyer. Those are his first points of the night, and they couldn't have come at a better time for the Rams. I think Owen Lloyd was the man that was guilty, his third. Homeyer at the stripe, a 49% free throw shooter, but he hits here. And at the 4:53 mark, that was a huge three-point play. Lead is 11. Dunn, top of the key. He wants to drive. Spichala cuts him off. Peak. Well, he's picked it up a bit here in the second half, but he's still nowhere close to his per-game average. Wow, did you see how far Spichala went to pull that board down? Holy cow.
Just straight determination. Oh, go to pass.
Double clutch and a little too much shake and bake there. But a good job by Spichala to get the board. And now up by 11, almost halfway through the fourth quarter. And here they come to double team and trap the ball. Somebody had to go to him. That was a nifty look by Welling. Dribble penetration, and was that ball tipped? No, just lost, out of bounds, off of Homeyer. So the Pilots get what they wanted, a stop. But they're beginning to run out of time, down by 11. And now under 4 left to go. You would call this crunch time.
Yes.
Ewers stripped by Welling. He averages 3.9 steals per game, and he almost had another. And what he just did there was force them out of their rhythm and almost get the turnover. I'm looking at a young family just below us with a little toddler fast asleep in mama's lap.
Aww.
With the nursery. You see her now,
Yeah.
don't you? Is that a three?
Yes. Yep.
Yes. Well, they needed him to pick it up. Those are his first points of the night. And now all of a sudden it's an 8-point lead again, down to single digits. Homeyer, double teamed, loses the ball. The outlet to Dunn. Homeyer, Johnny on the spot, and then Dunn fouled him. The vast majority of players, Claire, would probably pout and quit on that play because they turned it over. Homeyer got on his horse, got the steal, and drew the foul. The foul's going against Dunn. It is his second. Coming up on 3 minutes. Nice baseline cut. Bullet pass. Welling to lead. Lead back up to 10. Tinora has had an answer every time Ayersville is threatened. Lloyd for three. Off the heel. Boy, it looked good, but just a little long. The outlet, Spichala. Don't want to pull the trigger here.
No.
And Peak reaches in on the foul. Peak with his second, but that is team foul number 5. And Homeyer back to the charity stripe. 46% free throw shooter. He's 1 for 1 tonight. He is 1 for 2 tonight.
Spoke
Again,
a half second too soon.
Rattled in and out. It looked good,
Yeah.
but no such thing. He'll get another. And the iron unkind. So the lead remains 10. Coming up on 2.5 minutes left to go. And Ayersville, oh wow, Welling thought he had the strip. And as you can tell, about 75% of the Emerald thought so too. Instead, it's a foul. That will be his third. Close.
And he had nobody coming with him, so it would have been a nice lay-in on the other end.
Stambaugh, check that. Dunn throws it away, but was it deflected? Yes. Dunn saw it, and he was lobbying the entire time that ball rolled through the backcourt and across the baseline. But again, crucial seconds ticking off the clock for Ayersville. Heady play by Dunn, not to pick it up until near half court. Peak. Boy, he wants to. Ewers on the floor. Spychala just tight defense. Lieb dribbling out of a double team, and they finally get it to a slightly better ball handler, and Homeyer is fouled, and Ayersville looks like they're being told now to try to extend the game.
Make them earn it from the charity stripe.
Well, they've struggled a bit so far tonight, with the exception of Lieb, who is 3 for 4. Welling is 2 for 4, and those are your two best performers as the first is up. And Homeyer saying, I want to get in on the act as he drains his first. Second on the way, 100% this time. 44-32. Ayersville running out of time. Peak from about 23 feet out. Oh. Yes! I don't know where he'll play at the next level, but right now, if I am any of the D3 coaches, say Trine, or even the GLIAC, the D2 coaches, say Finley, Adrian, I think you'd be well served to keep an eye on number 1 for Ayersville. Can you imagine how much better he's going to be in another 2 seasons?
That's the thing, is he's only knocking on the door of his potential. It's not even open yet.
So 44-35, the lead back down to 9. All right, first things first, if you're Tinora, you have to expect full court pressure here, do you not?
Yes, and so keep your head about you. Don't force any pass that you don't need to. They've got timeouts, so if you get in a real pickle and you think you're trapped and you don't throw it away, call a timeout.
Well, and at this point, too, get the ball in bounds first.
Yes.
But I would say you could even go turtle.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got 10 seconds at worst before you might be called for not getting the ball across the timeline. But if you're Ayersville, I don't think you want to play that seesaw game, do you?
No.
You're going to have to foul immediately if you don't get a steal.
You do not want to, down this much with this little time left, you want to safely hack them. You know, go for the ball.
Yes. Always
go for the ball. But commit a foul early, hopefully on someone who maybe is cold from the line tonight or poor percentage free throw wise.
Well, the inbounds, nice job by Homeyer. They still have yet to cross the timeline. And coming up and giving the foul, Loden Clark, before they get across the timeline. So that'll be Loden's first. But right now, Tinora can effectively salt this game away if they hit their free throws. And Spychala, who had 9 at the half, looking for his first points in the second half here. And he'll have to wait. Not a great free throw shooter, sub 50% at just 48. 6'3", rangy kid. Second is on the way, long. Peak with the board, so the foul pays off. He'll spot up, long 3, over the backboard. It teased.
It did. It looked like it might get the friendly bounce.
So here we go again, lather, rinse, repeat. Clark is in. He's got 4 more fouls to give, and he'll be on the ball. The inbound, Homeyer gets rid of it. Spychala on an immediate sprint, and now into the front court, and they can just waste clock.
Yeah, and they're spreading them out too, so they're making them run to foul.
Again, they're still in this zone.
Yeah.
And at some point, you've got to, I think, come out and man and foul, don't you? Boy, that was a lot of time that ticked off the clock.
Well, I'm surprised they let them get across the timeline, especially when Spychala had it at, the 10-foot line on the other side of the court, volleyball-wise.
Welling will head to the stripe. He's got 9. Now make it 10. 2 points here in the second half, both from the line. And our player profile tonight. There you see him. Those big brown eyes staring right down at you. I believe he's become a favorite of Claire Dow. 46-35. Ayersville's got to hustle. Ewers with a highly contested three. Spychala with it. Well, the ball deflected. That's a good piece of hustle by Stambaugh. And they'll make him inbound again. Clark back in. Who's that last foul on? It's the inbounds, but they've got him in the corner, and they foul quickly. It's either going to be Clark or Lloyd.
I think it was Clark.
It was. Clark's second. And this time Lieb back to the line. He has been very productive tonight, 3 of 4. Again, the only Tinora Ram with more than a couple of free throw attempts. I stand corrected. Shively is 12 of 13. So you got a couple above 70 as Lieb drains his first. Second is on the way, also good. 48-35, 13-point lead with just a $1.10 left to go. Stambaugh, done thought about it. Oh, he got away with an extra step. He got away with one, but Ayersville's got to get a shot off.
Yeah.
Taking way too much time as Ewers hits the deck. Now Tinora fans want to travel, and look what I found! Jackson Stambaugh, right place, right time. Ayersville still with life, but nice job to release by Owen Farrell to get the breakaway lay-in. Lead back up to 13. They can't be too picky. Dunn from the student body, and he's got it. And did we have a foul underneath? So that was off the ball. The basket had already been made, and double checking with the officials how they're going to sort this out. Are they calling this before the shot? Nope, they put 3 up on the board, and it's a foul against Tinora. It's Lieb. So it's a 10-point game, and now Spychala has just picked up his third. Dunn couldn't back up any farther and still be on the court to hit that 3 ball. Peak inbounds. Well and gambled. And Spychala the winner. Is he going to go in? Yes. And he's fouled. Ewers picks up his 4th. I thought Spychala might back it out, but to know this kid,
Yeah.
it's just not his style.
Hey, you know what? I could put a couple more on the board. Just extend the lead.
Well, he's still looking to get into double digits. He had 9 at the half, and the free throw line has been anything but, and not just for Spychala, but Tinora. Second is on the way. It took 4. He hits 1, and he's in double digits with 10. It's an 11-point lead. Peak from about 22 feet out. Nothing doing. Oh! Dunn came in hard and down onto the crown of Lieb's, Lieb's head. And what's happening here? A little talk?
It could have been a trip. It could have been, there was some contact after the fact when they were walking. Could have been unintentional.
You're getting a taste of this rivalry. So to the other end of the gym and knocking down the first free throw, Lieb. He has been solid tonight. He is 5 of 6. He's got 1 more. Got him. And right now, if you're Tinora, you want to play D, but you don't want to foul. You're up by 13, 10 seconds left.
Yep, just lay off a little, let him get the bucket.
Ewers driving, still being bodied up, and we got a whistle. Foul against Farrell, his third. And both teams going to play hard until the final buzzer. Ewers. He's got 17 on the night.
Man.
Shot is up. Give him 18. Got a good look from our camera underneath that basket. Zooming in on him. There you see him, just a 58% free throw shooter on the season. And he's 50% here. Peak with the board, and he's fouled from behind by Welling. Make him earn it. That's Welling's fourth. Peak will go to the stripe. Well, Peak's got 13. He averages 16. And I'm not sure who he's talking to there. I think he took a little bit of umbrage with the foul. We talked about it, and actually I had that as 4. That's actually 5 for Connor Welling, but he gets a round of applause from the Rams faithful as Peak, with a chance to close in on his average, hits his first. He's got 14 now on the evening, looking for number 15. But with 1.8 seconds left to go, it's just going to be cosmetic at this point. And he can't hit. Battle for the board. Spychala's got it. No way he was giving that ball away.
Oh.
Whoa. And the handshake line should form here, but it has been intense. Final score, Tinora 53, Ayersville 42. And all is civil in the post-game handshake line. Rams up their record to 15-2 overall. And just as important, remaining perfect at 5-0 in the GMC. Pilots, more than game tonight, but just dug themselves into too deep of a hole to get out of as they fall to 5-12 and 1-4. We're going to take a 2-minute timeout. 2-minute break. Back with your South Lane 66 postgame show. You're watching DCTV Sports.
Discover affordable transfer opportunities at Northwest State.
Start here and save thousands on tuition.
Our advising team will help you get your credits transferred.
So don't wait another minute. Get started today.
Proudly serving the area with the highest quality contracting services for nearly 100 years. Baker Schindler Company of Defiance and Paulding, 419-782-5080. Online at baker-schindler.com. Simplify your everyday banking with convenient account options and digital banking features that fit your unique lifestyle. Premier Bank, everyday banking solutions designed for you. Explore solutions today at yourpremierbank.com.
from our half-court camera as we are back at the Emerald. We're going to keep calling it that until it becomes basically standard. But what a game tonight. The River rivalry, the boys taking center stage after the girls opened things up last night at the hangar on the south side of the river. Again, the Tinora girls won 53-31, and tonight the boys also dropped 53 points as they knock off Ayersville 53-42. Brent Balbinot alongside Claire Dow as we are now underway in our South 66 Lanes postgame show. We anticipate being joined by Tinora coach Chris Lymanstall and at least one, if not maybe a couple of players. But we're going to let them go ahead and let the emotions kind of come down a little bit. You know that there is great celebration in one locker room and probably a lot of silence and frustration in the other locker room. But Claire, you had a chance to see it, and first things first, credit both teams. This was an intense ball game tonight.
It wasn't, even when at times it maybe felt a little out of reach, like in that first quarter. It was or after the second quarter, 22-6 going into halftime. Some teams would hang their head, pout, and then come out and just get blown out in the second half. And we did not see that. It was a nail biter down to the end, even though it was, pulled within 8 with a couple minutes to play. It was anybody's game.
Well, Ayersville went on an 11-0 run to start the third quarter and got right back into it. And I'll say this, both teams were true to themselves tonight. Ayersville refused to come out of that zone. They did move some personnel around, and it paid dividends in that third quarter. Tinora simply said, we're not going to change what we do either. And in the end, it was just a little bit more Rams execution than Pilots.
And huge kudos to Alex Homeyer, shooting from the free throw line there down the stretch. We had a couple of folks that just really sealed it. Josh Leave did well, kind of sneaking in there on the weak side, getting the rebounds, putting them back up, hitting them from the charity stripe when it counted. A lot of gentlemen stepping up today.
Yep. Speaking of gentlemen coming up, now I'm not sure who is sharing what with us. I see Spichala, I see Welling, and I see Homeyer, so I'm checking. Are you guys for us? You guys for them? We're going to make the rounds. We can take 2 of you to start. Brownie, I think, wants one. And then this will be like track. Track's still a few months away, but this is like handing off the batons except the headset. So turn around, gentlemen, so that way we get your best side. Although, Adam, you don't have a bad one, do you?
Yeah, I do.
Zoom in on his 11. All right, so let me grab my book here. I'm looking down. Great balance here this evening. The 2 men standing just to my right. Connor, you had 11. Adam, you had 10. I guess let's start first things first, because you guys got out of the gate and got out of the gate fast. 22-6 at the half. You knew Ayersville wouldn't roll over and play dead. They made that run. But take us through this, because from start to finish, never saw panic, never saw frustration. You guys just seemed to be super cool tonight. Walk us through the game and its runs. Connor, start with you.
All right, great. So basically we got off to an early lead, and then we were up 22-6, right? Mm-hmm. And we were feeling good about ourselves. And then second half we kind of got humbled a little bit, and we needed to keep our composure, like you said, which we did that, and then we just got the win.
Now, 3-ball over here. Hits one just before the buzzer last year at the hangar that they're still talking about. You started early tonight hot, 3 threes in that first half, but you didn't look like you took a rushed or a forced shot. What's a good shot for you?
Catch and shoot right in the shooting pocket with my getting ready to shoot it and just being ready.
And left to right step in too, right?
Yeah, left
Make
to
sure
right.
your footwork's good. Don't get crossed up.
No.
Did they face guard you a little bit more in the second half? It looked like you had a little extra defensive company.
Yeah, a couple possessions they face guarded, but we're used to that because of the last week, and our teammates are ready to step up whenever.
Connor, again, you seem to be the calming presence out there. Mm-hmm. Although it seems to trickle down. This is a tight-knit group. There seems to be maturity about this group. Was it there last year, or is it just more of it this year in your opinion?
I don't think it was there at all last year, if I'm not
You hear that, Aiden? Go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh, I don't know. I don't have anything else.
Okay.
In a game like this where it's a rivalry, you guys are very familiar with each other. I'm sure you grew up playing against each other. Is it a little bit sweeter? Just what is this feeling like, kind of getting to defend your home court after taking it to them last year on the road?
I think it's really fun being able to wear our throwback jerseys in our home crowd and making it a close game.
How about for you?
That's a great answer, I think.
Cosign.
That's a great answer.
Now, I know she's your favorite math teacher, but Mrs. Retcher still wouldn't allow plagiarism. You got to give at least your own take on things there, yes?
Yeah, I would agree, but it happens a couple times.
Just a couple times. All right, Coach Lyman, feel free to walk across. He's photobombing you guys. You knew it would happen, though, right? What's he like in the middle of a huddle in a tight game?
Just making sure we can keep our composure, don't do anything we wouldn't, and be calm with the ball.
We just got to be able to handle pressure like we did, and then we come out with the dub.
All right, you did. So let me ask you this. You still have a handful of games left to go. I think, is it only one or maybe two are still in conference? You guys still remain perfect at 5-0. Two questions. Number one, goals. What do you still want to achieve in the next 5 games?
Well, we still got to win the GMC, and that comes with beating Paulding, but we don't want to look ahead. We want to go game by game, which we have Ayersville tomorrow.
Interesting, because we're going to be here for that Paulding game in a couple weeks. How about you guys individually? You guys still openly talk about it, or is it just one game at a time mentality?
We talk about it a little bit, but Coach doesn't like to look ahead, so we just go game by game.
Well, game tonight. How sweet is this, especially as upperclassmen, for you guys to make it on your home court this evening?
It's great. We got a dub, and then we got to go to B-dub, so.
We need to get them as a sponsor. Gentlemen, congratulations to you. You bet. We're going to take a quick timeout. Number 4, you just hold tight. We're going to keep you loose in the bullpen. I know that's a baseball term, but just the same. Back with more of the South 66 Lanes postgame right after this. You're watching DCTV Sports.
Discover affordable transfer opportunities at Northwest State.
Start here and save thousands on tuition.
Our advising team will help you get your credits transferred.
So don't wait another minute. Get started today.
Back with the South 66 Lanes post-game show. We've already heard from a couple of the mouthpieces for the Rams. When Coach sends up a player, we talk to him. And you get the spotlight all to yourself, Alex Homeyer. How's that feel? You don't have to share it with anybody.
That's all right.
He's being humble here this evening. As a senior, I'll ask you the same question that we asked your teammates. To beat the arch rivals, to do it on your home floor, to get a push, but to show the maturity, the grit that you guys did. What's it mean in your senior season?
It feels really good. We know we just got to keep the momentum going, keep it going one game at a time.
Improving. I'm so sorry.
And keep building on our momentum.
Improving to 5-0 in the conference. That's tough to do because coming in, you're unbeaten. They circle you on the calendar. You have a bullseye on your back. How do you guys cope with that as a team?
We just know we got to do what we do. Keep our composure, run our offense, play our defense, follow the scouting report, and we'll win.
You finished with 5 tonight. Again, solid from the free throw line. When the game's on the line, especially under that 3-minute mark, there's always the talk, they mean more. It's impossible to simulate in practice, even though you try to, right? 1 to tie, 2 to win. Walk us through what your routine at the free throw line is.
I just try to stay focused, try to make every single one. We got to get a little better at it in practice, though. Coach said we struggle a little bit.
Now, when you say focused, are you looking at the rim, the base, breathing? Walk us through the routine.
I usually take a deep breath, a couple dribbles, and look at the rim. And just focus on it going through the net.
Well, you were, let's see here, 2, 4, 5. You were 3 for 5. You are the teams, I think I had you at 78% coming into tonight. So without more than, let's see, 13, because Dylan is at 92%, but you've shot way more. His sample size is smaller. Is there anything, the key to it? You talk about it, because I was at practice, obviously, a couple days ago, and Coach will stop and just say, shoot some free throws. It was quiet. It wasn't like guys were goofing around. You take that seriously, right?
Yeah. That's something he talks about a lot because we know a lot of games come down to free throws and how important they are. A lot of people overthink them, but we know how important they are.
We asked the other gentleman that joined us a second ago, but
gentlemen.
They're seniors. They're ready to fly the nest. This heightened emotion in this game with the rivalry, you know each other so well. Just what is the feeling like when that buzzer went off? You guys won not only on the road last year, but at home tonight in the throwback jerseys. Can you put it into words?
It's just a really good feeling always to beat them. Any rival. I think we got a win streak going down the rivalry. We won the last 2. And we just got to keep building on it and get better and better.
Well, Connor talked about it. You still aren't there. Paulding's going to be in this gym in another, was it week or 2 weeks?
2 weeks.
We're going to be here for that one. But at the same time, Archibald's really salty. I mean, you are playing teams the likes of which you're going to face in the postseason at the end of your regular season. How much is that going to help prepare you when districts finally do roll around?
Yeah, it's going to help us a lot because we know we got to face the tougher competition or whatever. Ayersville's a good team, but we knew that we should have won this game coming in.
All right, congratulations to you. Go celebrate.
Thank you.
Spicy or mild on the wing sauce?
Mild.
Mild. Honey barbecue?
Yeah.
Okay, I knew it. I just kind of had that feel about him. The personality, the way he's cool at the free throw line, I thought we have a honey barbecue guy here. Nothing wrong with that. We're going to take a quick timeout. Back with more of the South 66 Lanes postgame show. We'll break down our stats. Don't you go anywhere. Tinora defeats Ayersville in the River rivalry by a final of 53-42. You're watching DCTV Sports.
Proudly serving the area with the highest quality contracting services for nearly 100 years. Baker Schindler Company of Defiance and Paulding. 419-782-5080. Online at baker-schindler.com. Simplify your everyday banking with convenient account options and digital banking features that fit your unique lifestyle. Premier Bank, everyday banking solutions designed for you. Explore solutions today at yourpremierbank.com. Estill Chevrolet Cadillac is this area's new and used car headquarters, earning your trust one satisfied customer at a time. Estill Chevrolet Cadillac, North Clinton Street in Defiance, and online at drivebobestill.com. For the past 70 years, Midwest Community Federal Credit Union has been your financial partner, helping you achieve your dreams and secure your future. Midwest Community Federal Credit Union, with locations in Defiance, Bryan, and Napoleon. Find out more at midwestcommunity.org.
There's still a buzz here. We call it the Emerald. We're trying to get it stamped. Maybe we'll bring a can of green spray paint and put it over the media crow's nest here. But right now what it is the Rams home, and they defended it tonight. 53-42, big win over the arch rival Ayersville Pilots in the River rivalry. Coach Lyman Stahl making the trip down media or press row here, throwing on the headset with us. Coach, first things first. I know you tip your cap to Ayersville. This is a tense game. Family blood is involved. I don't think literally tonight. But now it's one of those situations where you knew, despite being up 22-6 at the half and really putting your best foot forward, you knew the Pilots were going to come out swinging. They weren't going to go down an 11-0 run to start that third quarter. Your take on your team's win tonight, one word just kind of sticks in my mind, but grit. Is that a fair way to put it?
Yeah, it's kind of what we've hang our hat on as defensive end. We have a lot of grit. We knew there was going to be an emotional surge, to start the game. And then, when Ayersville gets down at the half like that, there's only two ways you can go, and that's either, fight back or go away. And they're a cornered animal. They're going to come back and fight, and that's what they did and made a surge. And, it's just very important and mature of us to be able to withstand that.
What makes this team so mature? I mean, it can be a big character building assessment tonight, just with the emotion of a rivalry and that they were able to keep their heads about them. What makes them, how are they mature, I guess? I
think we look to, our three seniors, Alex, Adam, and Connor. And, the rest of the guys, they just don't miss time in the offseason. Those led by those three. I think it comes from experience. They've played a lot of basketball. Alex got in some big games 2 years ago due to an injury. Josh Lieb has a whole year under his belt now. So I think it comes through experience. And they lean on each other. And they're comfortable in the uncomfortable situations.
Speaking of Josh Lieb, holy smokes, he was just living on that opposite block when those threes would go up from the corner and just board and put back. Is that what you expect to see out of him?
Yeah, especially tonight. We did. This might be one of the few times that we did have a size advantage. And one guy that Josh didn't have to check tonight was a guy bigger than him and keep him off the glass. So Josh was free to roam and go crash the offensive glass. He did that, and if he wasn't putting it back, he was shooting free throws, and he did a very, very good job tonight.
I had this conversation with Coach Hoffman over at Purdue Fort Wayne a couple weeks ago, but he laid it out perfectly. He goes, I don't care how tall or how small you are. The game is about, number one, creating space and then attacking space. And you don't always have to have the basketball to do that. Yep. Is he a perfect example of that?
Yeah, I mean, the shot goes up on the weak side, and Josh just gets a good read on it. He's got a high motor. He's a good rebounder. He probably, unselfishly, he takes the matchup where, his numbers don't always say that he's a great rebounder, but he is. He can go get it, and, a lot of times, as a credit to Josh, he keeps the other team's best rebounder off the glass.
Not only that, but he was money in crunch times. Bichala with 10, Welling with 11. I'll tell you what, Farrell was one basket away from double digits as well, but there's such a thing as a quiet 16. Lieb had that, but in the fourth quarter, he was a perfect 6 for 6 from the charity stripe.
Yeah, and that Josh does it in practice, so we expect him to do it in the game. Our sets there late in the game to get the ball inbound are essentially to go to him. A couple times we jumped the gun a little bit and got it to the wrong guy, but credit Josh for knocking him down when he needed to.
And giving you the win here tonight. Still 5 games left in the regular season. The GMC is not locked up, but at the same time, you get no rest. You're at, a quality club tomorrow against Archibald. I was asking Connor, but I'll ask you the same question. The end of your regular season reads like district opening competition.
Yeah.
How well is this going to prepare you when the postseason finally does roll around?
Well, toward the end of the season, we feel the beginning part of our season prepares us for what we have to go through. We do that intentionally to try to play the more physical, the more athletic teams. So we have some grit by the time it gets to that, late in the season, and then, we're ready for tournament play.
Good luck tomorrow. You'll enjoy it at least tonight until your head hits the pillow, right?
Yeah, I'll enjoy it for a little bit, and then we'll start watching the film. Yep.
Congratulations, Coach. Thanks for coming up and joining us. We'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Thank you very much.
We're going to take a quick timeout. When we come back, we'll put a green and white bow on our South 66 Lanes postgame show. You're watching DCTV Sports.
Visit Mark Moats Ford and check out some of the best new Ford models. Mark Moats Ford has been serving the Defiance community since 1916. Visit them today, County Road 424 in Defiance, and online at markmoatsford.com.
Discover top quality healthcare education at Northwest State. Our instructors have real world experience, so they know how to prepare you for great career opportunities. Northwest State, where you'll get the top quality healthcare education you need to succeed.
Proudly serving the area with the highest quality contracting services for nearly 100 years. Baker Schindler Company of Defiance and Paulding, 419-782-5080. Online at baker-schindler.com.
Back at Tinora, Brent Palpinot alongside Claire Dow as we are putting the finishing touches on the South 66 Lanes post-game show. Let's run down our unofficial scoring totals here. Leading all scores, the freshman center for Ayersville. And folks, the ceiling is incredibly high on this young man. Dane Ewers finishes with 18. Jeremiah Peak almost got to his per-game average of 16. He was held scoreless at the half. He finishes with 14, and then it drops off after that. A half a dozen for Dylan Dunn, a deuce for Owen Lloyd, and a deuce for Jackson Stambaugh. All 5 starters in the scoring column for Tinora, including 3 in double figures. Leading the charge, Josh Lieb with 16, including a perfect 6 for 6 from the charity stripe in the fourth quarter. Connor Welling with 11. Adam Spichala with 10. Owen Farrell was only a basket away from double digits himself. He finishes with 8. And then 3 bench points, courtesy of a tray by Dylan Shively. Claire, just a really well-played high school basketball game
It really
tonight.
was. It was fun to watch, a fun atmosphere. We even saw a brand new T-shirt gun.
Yes.
So, it had it all, folks.
And our producer, Ryan, got one of those T-shirts.
Yes, he did.
It might be 3 sizes too big for him, but just the same, he's got a
Still
memory
exciting.
now. He has a memory. That's going to do it for our broadcast here this evening. A big thank you going out to our sponsors for helping make the broadcast a possibility, as our crew doing more than yeoman's work here this evening, and as always, you, the fan, for tuning in. For Claire Dow, I'm Brent Balbinot. Final score tonight, Tinora 53, Ayersville 42. Pilots fall to 5-12, 1-4 in the GMC. The Rams now 15-2 and a perfect 5-0 in the Green Meadows Conference. A championship will be decided in 2 weeks when Paulding comes to this gymnasium, and we will be here. We hope you join us. After that, have yourself a safe and enjoyable weekend. You've been watching a presentation of DCTV Sports.